Welcome to your one-stop hub for global news, sports, business, and celebrity gossip. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a beat. Here is your celebrity gossip news. So we have been watching the Loveisblind season. However, we have not made any videos about them this season just because we really hated this season altogether. We hated the cast, we hated the storyline. Everything about it was a fraud. Scam, scam, scam. Unfortunately, we hated the show. However, we're making this video now just because there are some red flags that came up like after the show. You know how you watch a show and you kind of take sides or you feel bad for some of the contestants because they were misled or whatnot. But there's some around where, after the season has ended, we took some time off or whatnot, and all these contestants are doing press. They're going on several podcasts, shows and stuff like that, and to speak on their experience and more. So this video, precisely, we are focusing on AD and Clay. For those who haven't watched the season, spoiler alert. If you haven't watched it, do not listen to this because we're going to ruin it for you. So AD and Clay have made it all the way to the altar. AD said yes to Clay, that she wanted to marry that man. But Clay said, I can't marry you right now as we stand. Clay didn't understand why AD wanted to get married so badly. And the reservations that Clay had to do with finances. That's how he put it at the time. But now that they're doing press, AD is talking, Clay is talking. Now we're actually getting a little bit more depth into what Clay meant by the finances. But, let's put that aside for now. Let's not forget that Clay also has not been showing up for AD as much. If they weren't filming, Clay was a no-show, meaning Clay wasn't coming home to AD. How can you meet somebody within 4 weeks? You have 2 weeks to live together, prepare for the wedding, get to know each other, all that stuff, and get married at the 6th week of the show. How is that possible? And yet you were nowhere to be found. You didn't spend as much time with your girlfriend. What were you doing all this time? You were just talking about sex? Like, what? Like, anyways. So, beside the fact that we strongly believe that Clay did not find AD attractive is an understatement. Clay did not really care for this woman as much. Was Clay attracted physically, sexually to AD? Yes. Did Clay see AD as his wife? Heck no. Maybe Clay might also have a preference for women with an ambiguous, ethnicity, if you know what we mean. But as AD stood, she stood no chance with Clay. Clay would have had sex with her, done whatever he needed to do with her, and leave her exactly where he found her, unfortunately, or respectfully. All this said, let's surface back to the finance part. So Clay mentioned briefly in the season, finance-wise, finance is big for me. Finance is, I manage Airbnbs, I'm into real estate and stuff like that, all that stuff, right? And then we heard AD also mention something about she being a realtor and wanted a career as a realtor. Except when AD was on Nick Vile's podcast, Nick Vile asked her, is there a listing you would like us to shout out? And take a listen to what AD said.
Doing real estate?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going, yeah.
Anything we do to help? In-house in the market. Tell people to go like that.
No, it's doing its thing, yeah.
What kind of answer is this? If you were a real realtor with, a successful career, even if you're up and starting, I'm sure Even if you were app and studying, we're pretty sure you have a listing to promote. Even if it's not your listing or it's a co-listing, you could still put that out there. But the fact that AD didn't take this opportunity to even promote one listing, we were like, was this like a storyline? Was this something that she's thinking of doing but she hasn't done yet? She may have her realtor license. We didn't look her up or anything, but she may have her realtor license. But is she really listing or has any listing under her name, selling homes? Has she sold a home as we speak? No, we don't think so. And some TikTokers also picked up on this, and they even went on and showed AD's page. And AD's page, it's not rocket science. You could see that this woman she's a beautiful girl. This woman is passionate about sports, fitness, beauty, care, and those kind of stuff. And so if being a realtor was something you really wanted to do or that you're passionate about, we would have seen more listings on your page, more so than, fitness and like beauty care or hair care or whatever that is, right? And only recently, so you could compare with what some of the early TikTokers have spoken about and the screenshots that they have of AD's page with what AD has actually put out as we speak. Actually, we're March 23rd, and if you go back to AD's Instagram page, you will see that her page is still personal. It's not even business yet. You will see that her page now has NC as a North Carolina realtor, which wasn't there before. So most likely this woman is reading and watching all these TikTokers talk about her. So now she's trying to clean up her act and trying to come out as a legit realtor or whatnot. Now, also on the Rick Val's podcast, so you know that AD got stood out at the altar. So Clay said no to her. She said yes, she was hurt by it. So she made it look. And then towards the end, they kind of met briefly before they went their separate ways. So we thought. And during that brief moment, you could still see Clay and AD being, very touchy, kissing and stuff like that. Which we thought, if you didn't want to be with this man that said no to you at the altar, why in the heck are you letting him kiss you on the mouth as if you guys are still an item? And we understand, these things are hurtful and, your feelings cannot just leave your body overnight. We get that. But if you're really hurt and you stood on business, why would you let this man still continue misleading you, kissing you, and things like that? Long story short, back to Nick Val's podcast. So AD said something on the lines of, every chance I get, I show Clay that, he's missing out, or, the fact that Clay didn't choose to marry her, she want to rub it in his face and make him feel like, you should have picked me, you should have picked AD. There are so many beautiful women out there, even more beautiful than yourself, and you are a very pretty girl, by the way. But America doesn't lack of pretty girls. Clay will be just fine. You can rub it in as much as you want. Clay will be just fine. He's a good-looking man himself, so he'll be just fine. So many things AD said on that Nick Val podcast really made us feel like, eesh, who is this woman? And we almost felt like backtracking all the feelings that we felt for her, all the hurt we felt for her, for being misled and mistreated by Clay. One of them being, for instance, when AD is telling the story about the job that she did before being known by the whole world. She was a VIP, like manager at a club owned by one of her ex-boyfriends, but she worked for the ex-boyfriend. And she even tells the story of how the Loveisblind cast actually casted her, and how the ex-boyfriend told them to basically F off because they were just fine. If this guy is or was your ex-boyfriend, Why is he telling these people you don't need to be on a show? Why is he telling these people you guys are good? That means you guys are not ex. You guys are still going in and out with each other. The fact that AD is still friends with this ex-boyfriend, still works for him and things like that, makes us feel like, ish, this is a sticky situation. So Clay has been on Angelique's show, and on that show he spoke on the comment that AD made about Clay's mother, in the sense that she said respectfully, I wouldn't want to be Clay's mother. You would give anything to be Clay's mother, because you wanted to marry this man, regardless of knowing all the past that, the trauma that he dealt with, the cheating allegations. Well, they're not allegations, but the cheating situations that Clay's father has been in, and how it has impacted him as a kid, as a young man, and still impacting him now. You would love to be by Clay's side, knowing very well that this guy could cheat on you, and so the mother, Clay did specify that his mother didn't really appreciate that comment much, and we can understand why. Leave the mother out of it. There was another comment too that Clay made, and Clay really went to specifics, and you could tell Clay was trying to be very politically correct without throwing AD off the bus. He was really picking his words really well, and we kind of respect that. We think this guy is a standout man, although a bit salesy, but he's a very standout man, and he talks well. He's good with his words. So he said, we're going to paraphrase, and then we're going to play the clip to you, obviously. Clay said something in the lines of AD not understanding AD's finances, what she did for work. And we could tell even during the taping, it could be that AD was just home and not doing anything. She was just waiting for her man to come home, for them to, kiki and have a good time, and this woman wasn't working. And AD would say later on how she came into the show prepared to be a wife, prepare for the soft life, prepare not to work and just be taken care of, basically. AD didn't have a job. She was just throwing things out there. Oh yeah, I'm a realtor. Oh yeah, I'm about to start my realtor business. She didn't have a realtor or anything just yet. She was just throwing those things out because he sounded nice. And Clay, when he was going through the relationship, he's like, I'm not sure I can take care of you. You can't just stay at home and not work. And this is not what I want for myself. And we think that's where the disconnect, started happening. The fact that Clay didn't really see AD hustling, doing things for money, trying to get it on her own and maybe together. Clay didn't see the vision. But for AD was counting on getting married on the show, having what basically Brett and Tiffany had, or even, Brett and Tiffany basically are the example. And you will see during the whole season, every single time she's like, oh, I thought this was my time. I can't wait for my time. This woman was so mesmerized by the Loveisblind, perks. Loveisblind, publicity that comes with getting married and doing tours on shows and, talking and getting like brand promotions and brand deals and, just flying and just a good life, basically. This woman was ready for that kind of ride. But Clay was like, we're not doing this. I'm not going to work for you to just sit off my hard-earned money for you to just enjoy your soft life. This ain't happening. And so you're going to hear the clip. When Clay actually goes into it, he says it better than we do, obviously. But take a listen and we'll come back after.
So what was it that kind of signaled a red flag for you when it came to her finances?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, for me, personally, I wasn't never saying that AD's finances was a reason why we wouldn't be together. I was saying that I didn't understand it enough for us to get married at this time period. Like, I just want to remind everybody, this is 6 weeks. And I'm gonna take ownership that I probably should have had a little bit more conversations
Yes.
about the finances, but I just want to remind everyone that there's so much going on at that time. Every day is a different theme. So we talked about the finances in the pods. What I saw from AD in the pods was a little bit different than what I saw when we were actually in Charlotte together. She, we vibed off of entrepreneur spirit. We vibed off of working hard. And then when we came back to the house, she dedicated all her time to be a wife, and that's cool and everything, but that's not really what I fell in love with her about. Her biggest thing was like, Clay, I got your back. I'm gonna support you. And to me, that's just not a motivation for me to get married, because I have a lot of people that got my back. I want to be motivated by my partner as well. I think it's a partnership, and I'm big on marriage. I don't want to get a divorce, and one of the things I know that people get divorces over is finances. So for me, you know what I'm saying? So if finance is big, so AD had an ex-boyfriend before she did the experiment. I think she kind of talked about it on a podcast. And for me, I thought that she said she was a real estate agent. I didn't really see her, in that field because she was, dedicated to the process, and that's good for her. A lot of other people were dedicated to the process as well. But for me, I felt as though for me to say I do, I needed to see, how what was going on, how are you making your money? Because it seemed to me the ex-boyfriend, this is just to me, this may not be true, but to me it seemed like all the finances came from that ex-boyfriend. So
he had a club. She worked at his club.
She worked at his club.
In addition to real estate, in addition to being a mason.
It sounds like you're saying maybe she wanted to be a stay-at-home wife.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. I don't think, because AD definitely got into her real estate after we finished filming, and she was very transparent with me about this ex-boyfriend. So I don't want to make it seem like she wasn't doing anything, but she just really dedicated this time to be a wife.
Yes.
Me personally, I didn't understand that, because they paid us whatever they paid us, and to me that wasn't enough to just pause my life for 6 weeks.
So is Clay wrong for this? Is he wrong for thinking or saying those kind of things? Think about it. We don't blame the guy. And what does he say about AD? AD is just a soft girl type of person. She doesn't want to work. She wants somebody that has loads of money so that she could just get married, sit at home and do nothing. And, actually not do nothing. Go to a gym and upkeep herself because she's worth it. AD. So AD's dream just got burst too early, actually. Too early. And it explains why she even went on a date with Matthew, the financial advisor guy. Because she thought, if Clay couldn't give her the life she wants, maybe Matthew could. And it turns out after 2 dates, Matthew was just a very imbalanced man. And they couldn't work things out. And as if this wasn't enough, somebody has to take Clay's side, because Clay's is not gonna be messy. But who can be messy on your behalf if it's not yourself? Your friends. And this is what Clay's friend actually said, and we thought it was really, it's actually really, we don't know this friend. We don't know if he's gaslighting or whatnot, but based off what we know now and what we kind of witnessed during the show, it all starting to make sense. This friend of Clay's is actually telling the truth, no cap. So he said, I'm Clay's best friend, and we both living out in Charlotte for years now. AD finances are in fact funny. She has a sugar daddy that is funding her life. Ooh, you think? So the sugar daddy might be the club owner. So she has a sugar daddy that is funding her life, bought her a car and an apartment. She not a realtor. Ask her to show us one house she sold or a picture she took with someone in front of the house. She just sold them. I'll wait. The never to do a press run to lie on a dude that has said nothing but kind, respectful things about her is nasty work. And apparently, this sugar daddy of AD has bought her an apartment. Is it the apartment we keep seeing her take pictures by the balcony, take pictures inside the house? Is that the apartment, AD? And AD keeps saying, oh, I prepared for this. I worked and I intentionally, we're paraphrasing here again. I intentionally, worked specifically because I know I was going to be off and gone for this show for this much a period. I wanted to make sure that I was good, and I make sure I'm good, I make sure that, I put some money aside. Our impersonation of AD is really bad, by the way, but don't judge us. And she kept saying, how she puts money aside, and how she was okay of doing the show, during those 6 weeks or whatnot, and how she was ready to get married. And then Clay is like, well, whatever they're paying us is peanuts. I can't live off this. And if I can live off this, how can you live off this yourself with the lifestyle that you have? Who's financing this lifestyle? So that's when Clay's brain went, full circle, 360. And that's when Clay's like, oh, okay, so you have somebody funding this life. That's why you are able to be off 6 weeks and not even clinch once about how you're going to eat, how you're going to do, how you're going to pay your bills, and so on and so forth, because somebody pays them for you. That's not Clay's life. And also, this guy would go on and saying that, they almost got Reno in front of a club, which this guy owns, the sugar daddy owns. So for a man, if you are involved with another woman, and you know that there's another ex that was there before you, but this old lady is telling you, oh no, that's my ex, he's not my boyfriend. But then the ex is saying, oh, no, we're still pretty much involved. I own this woman because I still pay for her bills. How is the new guy supposed to feel? Do you want to go to war for this woman, knowing that you could get killed? This is America. People kill for women. People kill because you're taking the girl. Does Clay want to die and leave his skin in this story? We don't blame the guy. We don't blame Clay. We do not blame Clay at all. This is the right thing to do. And we're glad he walked away, really. This whole AD really wanted the spotlight. She wanted the spotlights that comes with the Loveisblind franchise. That's all she wanted. And we're pretty sure, with that, she can definitely turn this into a business. She's already started, by the way. There's already bunch of brands actually sending her stuff to actually promote, which she's doing brilliantly. And we think if she's consistent enough, she won't have to do a realtor job, or 9 to 5 as she calls it. She will just keep on just doing these influencer gigs and get her money that way. Now, the last point we would like to leave you on is the fact that we kind of see AD joining one of those realtor jobs on Netflix. She would fit in very well the cast of Selling Tampa. We know that Selling Tampa is canceled, right? But somebody bring back Selling Tampa. We think she would do really good on that show. If Selling Tampa is not coming back, and if we had to fit her in a show that is currently active, we know that AD loves LA. Would she want to move to LA? Oh, heck yeah. So she might even create an opportunity for herself to be casted as, a realtor on Selling Sunset, which is not a bad show to be on. It's not a bad realty show to be on. Don't be surprised if you see her on TV, on some reality TV show, or even during anything that is a home renovation type of shows, You know, because she needs to prove to the world that she's a realtor. She sold at least one home or two homes or whatnot, and this will be a great avenue for her. But in the long term, this is not somebody that loves to work. She just want to ride the wave, which there's nothing wrong with it, really.
Okay, I want this. So I prepared for this,
right,
like an adult would. Okay, and then I also am a realtor. And if you know anything about real estate, you make your own hours, you make your own schedule, you do your own thing.
Right.
And then I worked in a nightclub, whom was owned by my ex. Okay, he knew all of this.
Yeah.
And so my finances have never been funny. To make that very clear. Never funny, honey.
Yeah.
And so when we came back, I was like, hey, look, I'm good. I set myself up. I can take, and I wasn't the only one. A few of us on the cast took work off to take.
Because you can't just leave your job for like 3 months and go film a TV show and think that you're going to have a job when you get back.
Right. So you set yourself up to fully dive into the experiment. And I understand that he wanted to see like what it was like. But I told him in the pods, like, I'm leaving my club job because I don't want to work for my ex anymore till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yes. Well, I'm trying to get married.
Well, I'm trying to get married.
Yeah.
So he's like, no, AD, I really just need to see you go to work. And he didn't understand how I could stay afloat and how shit could keep moving.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't working a 9 to 5. Like, he just didn't understand.
Yeah.
And so, and he just didn't like it. I guess maybe he's just used to girlies that are like that. That's not my vibe. Like, I'm not a 9 to 5 girl. I'm very well set up. Like, I don't need that kind of, and I'm also not used to guys like that, that are looking for a hard working woman, like well kept. And I don't really,
Do you go? And we wish you lots of success. And Clay, same thing. We wish you a bunch of success, and don't be yourself too much. You know, get the promo you need, and try and get some brand promotions as well. And fly away, fly. So that is all we got for you right now. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.